Ladies and gentlemen, with this particular story, I had a handful of people, including my friend Elissa Deej, so shout out to her, that sent me this story. And the more I read into it, the more I got just disgusted with what this mother, so-called mother, did. Matter of fact, I don't even, why do I have that picture up? I don't know if that's her. That picture came up for some strange reason. I don't know how valid that is, but I don't want to get in trouble for putting up a picture that shouldn't be up. So for now, I'm going to skip that one. Let's just skip that one particular picture. Let's put the rest of these back up here. I want y'all to see these little angels over here, these babies, because they're the subject of this story. And this story comes out of a place called Reseda, California. So the photos have emerged of 3 young children who were allegedly stabbed to death by their own mother in Southern California as police continue working to uncover a motive. But I have an idea of the motive. We'll get to that here in just a moment, okay? Liliana Carrillo, who is 30 years old. Let me see if I can get her face up on the screen. Give me a moment. See if I can find y'all a picture of her. This individual right here, this is Liliana Carrillo, 30 years old. She looked like she's about 30 in the face. But she was arrested on Saturday, hours after police said that she killed her 2 sons and daughter, who were aged 2, 3, and 6 months old, respectively. And this happened at her apartment in Los Angeles. The children's grandmother discovered, wow, walked in on this. So let me tell you guys, these details are probably not going to sit well with your sensibilities, so I understand if y'all can't handle this, but I got to be real and just give y'all the details, okay? Their grandmother discovered the grisly scene that morning, and the mother, Carrillo, fled the home in a stolen car, sparking an hours-long manhunt that ended with her being taken into custody in Ponderosa, the Los Angeles Police Department said. So I want y'all to think about this. This mother murdered her 2-year-old child, a 3-year-old child, and a 6-month-old child. Not only after she did that, she hopped in a stolen car and ran. Now, I would love to know how she ended up having access to a stolen car. Like, did she steal one just in the moment? Did she already have the stolen car? It's beyond me. I don't know. But let's continue to tell the rest of the story. Oh, goodness. The loved ones have set up a GoFundMe campaign. How about that? Why have life insurance where you could just throw up a GoFundMe and people will have their heartstrings plucked and they'll feel sad for you and they'll donate money because you chose to go the cheap route and not have life insurance? How about that? Let me show you guys, because y'all might not believe this until you see it. Let me show you something. Let me show you guys something. How much do y'all think that this GoFundMe is for? Does anybody want to take a guess? How much do y'all think they're asking on this GoFundMe? Y'all think they're asking for a couple $1,000 just to have a little help? 2 or 3, 4 or 5,000? How much do y'all think that they're asking for crowdfunding money for? How much do y'all think they requested? Y'all ready to take a look at this? Let me know if I need to make this bigger on the screen. I think I might be able to crop this a little bit more from the bottom and from the side. Can y'all see that number up there? If you can't, maybe I need to make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see that number. Let's blow this up. Can y'all see that? $50,099. $50,099. How many times have I told you guys that as long as people are giving, as long as people see this as the easy way out, they're going to take it? Because these people only have these children for the benefits that they can collect off of these children. Everybody does it. Not everybody. Too many people do. Too many people in this situation do this. I feel like they're taking advantage of the goodwill of people. It should be a good thing that people want to step out there and help those who might be in a difficult position. But why should we put a burden? We know we're all that are born, we're all going to die, and I think that everybody should be able to take care of their own final expenses. At least not your family should be able to. That should not be society's job to bury your loved ones, because we all are going to go through it. Why not have life insurance? Just as sure as you have to drive, you have to have insurance, because there's a high probability that you're going to have a car accident. There is a even higher probability that you're going to die. And nobody knows the day, nobody knows the hour, but guess what? They're going to say I'm wrong for being the GoFundMe police. And I need to have my channel taken down. And I'm not trying to be mean, because this family did suffer a tragedy. But guess what? All death is tragedy. Can somebody tell me if I'm wrong? And I hope you guys didn't come here to hear just the news story, because that ain't what nobody come here for. Because you could just Google search that. People usually come here to hear what my opinion is about the things that are happening. And it's so sad. I feel like I'm on repeat. Sometimes people have to ask me, like, is this a different story? Is this the same story? Are we live right now? Like what's going on? Because all of these stories start to sound alike. Because they all have a lot of the same elements. And you'd have to ask yourself, why is there this much child murder going on? This often, that we could tell these stories literally every day and never run out. GerberLife.com. Thank you for posting it right there in the chat. Everybody needs to do the responsible thing. So like I said, I'm going to always use these moments to try to teach and educate people that we all should take care of our own final expenses. If you can't afford to have life insurance, then maybe you can't afford to continue to keep procreating. Let's move on. So the family set up a GoFundMe campaign to help the children's father, Eric Denton, cover the cost of their funerals. The campaign, which has already raised more than, well, y'all saw what the number raised, and it features an adorable photo of the three kids playing outside with their dad. Denton's cousin, Terry Miller, revealed on Sunday that the father had been fighting Carrillo, the mother, his ex-girlfriend. He had been fighting her for custody of his kids long before they were killed. Let's repeat that. They said that the dad had been fighting for custody from her for whatever reason. Every parent should have the right to do that. So here's the thing. The majority of us are having kids outside of wedlock at a very high rate. So there is a good likelihood that we're not going to be in a marriage. There's a good likelihood we're not going to have kids under the same roof. You know, you have issues one way or the other. You know what? Let's just split custody, or I want complete custody. Whatever it is. A lot of people are going through this battle. That don't mean you take it out on the kids. The two of y'all need to work that out together. Matter of fact, it shouldn't even have to go through the courts. Why can't adults work this type of thing out? She's 30 years old. Don't be like, well, she was young. She's not young. She's 30. She's grown. If you're grown enough to have kids, you ought to be grown enough to be able to do what is best by your children. Together as mother and father, not just the mom. Mom making all decisions. I gave birth to him, because with no seed, you can't give birth. So it's a two-way street. Everybody understand? Just like you can't put all the blame on the mom, you can't give mom all the credit, just as well as you can't put all the blame on the dad, and he ain't gonna get any credit at all. But I digress. We'll move on past that. They've been fighting for custody, And Miller told the news that Denton, the father, had repeatedly contacted, oh goodness, the dad had repeatedly contacted DCF, the Department of Children and Family Services, because he felt that Carrillo needed help. I want y'all to go ahead and type in the chat, babies for benefits. We'll come back to that. Liliana was very sick, and she is not herself, and it's been going on for several months that she has been unwell, according to her cousin. Scroll down here a little bit. Miller noted that Denton had received an emergency order that granted him custody of the kids in March, but suggested that no one helped enforce it, so the kids remain living with their mother and grandmother. So did she, at 30 years old with 3 kids, she lived with her grandmother? Huh, it's a little weird. Maybe I read that wrong. It said the kids remain living with the mother and grandmother. That sounds like the mom lived with her mom. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just reading this, okay? So the dad actually won custody. The mom violated that order by not letting him get his kids. He was also frustrated with the system because the system failed them. The system failed these kids. Police said that the grandmother returned home from work at about 9:30 a.m. Saturday and found the children dead inside Carrillo's apartment in the Reseda neighborhood of Los Angeles. Carrillo, the mother, had apparently fled the scene in her own car before ditching it for a stolen silver Toyota pickup truck in Bakersfield. So there you go. She left in her car and then jacked somebody else. So did she know how to jack cars? I don't know how she does that. Like, did she get lucky to steal a car? Hell if I know. I don't know. But she was apprehended in Tulare County after LAPD received reports that she was driving on North Interstate 5. A spokesperson for the LAPD confirmed to the news. Before her arrest, the LAPD Lieutenant Raul Javel has said that Carrillo, the mother, was considered a suspect in the stabbings, but police hadn't ruled out other possible perpetrators. After her arrest, the LAPD confirmed that the mother is the sole suspect. The sole suspect. Neighbors said they had assumed that the children's grandmother was their primary guardian after seeing them around the Reseda neighborhood. Bookmark that in your mind. At this point, she is a suspect in the incident, but that doesn't exclude other people. He added, "We're trying to figure out what ties she has up north." So Lupe Cuevas, a neighbor of Carrillo and her children, told the news that she had interacted with the 3 children and their grandmother during afternoon walks around the neighborhood. One of the children, a girl, was drawn to her Chihuahua, Rosie. And she told that to the newspaper. I don't know why they wrote it that way. That was really weird. So the Chihuahua's name was Rosie. Whatever. Why do we even need to know that? That's weird. Do me a favor, if y'all are listening to this story, please click the thumbs up. Help share this stream. Share the memory of these babies and talk about this story, because everybody needs to know about what happened in this tragedy, okay? So please click the thumbs up. She wasn't shy. She was sweet, Cuevas said. An angel shouldn't have to go that way. Those babies were such sweet little ones, and this hurts. On Saturday, the news revealed that the mother had kept a blog where she criticized teen mom stars for being bad mothers. How ironic is that? Would y'all like to see a screenshot? Let me see if I can pull that up. Pull that up real quick. Y'all give me a moment. See if I can pull this damn. She's trying to coach people how to be a good mother. Y'all are not going to be able to see this on the screen, so I apologize. This is a long blog. Let me see if I can show y'all this another way. Hold on. Maybe I could show you this way, maybe? Because y'all not going to be able to see that. Let's take a look at some of this. Bam. That should be a little bit easier for y'all to see. So, she criticized teen mom stars for being bad mothers, all the while she can't get along with her baby daddy, who she had 3 kids by. And if you have 3 kids with somebody, you should know how to kind of navigate that person's emotions and feelings. Y'all should be able to get along, don't you think? At least for the betterment of the children. Y'all got that many kids together and y'all can't figure it out? Look at this. Look at how long this is. I'm going to kind of scroll. I'm not going to let y'all read the whole thing. But I want y'all to just see how much this whore had to say about so-called bad parents. And then look at what she do to her kid. Y'all see how long this is? And that's not even all of it. She also had an Instagram account that was believed to be hers, but it's since been deleted, and had linked an old blog that apparently belonged to her, in which she had written positive, inspirational messages and a few confessions about her, called Blogging for Good. And in her post, the mother talked about common life issues and obstacles that people may have encountered. Many of the posts are filled with messages describing opportunities for change and telling readers to take charge of their life. She said, "I am not perfect. I still have many issues, but overall, I am happy and proud of my past. I love my present, and I'm looking forward to my future." And she wrote this in 2013. And I always find it funny how people who ain't got their shit together is always trying to tell other people to get their shit together. Don't y'all think that's weird? Maybe it's just me. People who need to get themselves together are trying to tell you how you need to do better and how you can do better when they can't navigate their own lives. A number of her posts also address her family though her children would not have been born by the time she stopped writing in the blog. In one post in May 10th of 2013, the mother recounted her irritation with the show Teen Mom, in which she claimed its stars physically and emotionally abuse their partners and then victimize themselves. Sound familiar? "My sister watches this crap and I got stuck eating lunch in the living room with her," she wrote. She added, they're all involved in heavy drugs, can't escape them, and then cry about how they can't access their child. I mean, really? And that's the mom saying this, her. All of these mothers have been presented in my opinion, and forgive me if this offends anyone, but in my opinion, I hold strongly to it, just idiot after idiot. I do not feel pity for them. Please let me read that again. The mom wrote, "I do not feel pity for them." Can somebody please write that sentence? It's a small sentence, but I want you to write that in the chat. Just that sentence. I do not feel pity for them. Bookmark that. We'll come back to it. She added, there's no denying that there are a few mothers in the show who progress from their situations and grow from their troubles, but there are others that I am shocked as to how or why they still have custody of their children. In that same post, she said that had also been in and why did they write it that way? Guys, they're writing this in a really weird way. I'm sorry to make it sound like I got a third grade education. I'm sorry. But they wrote, unhealthy relationships in which she would go out with my girls, drink, smoke, and lose control. She said, I'm not perfect. I was a person in these same situations, minus the children. Believe in yourself and summon strength from within to push you to from within to push to you do the best you can do. This world is limitless. You are your own worst enemy. I'm sorry if I am not reading that right. They got to use some better punctuation or something. Anyway, in that post, she also wished her mother a happy Mother's Day. It was not immediately clear if the grandmother of the children who were killed was Carrillo's mother or the children's paternal grandmother. She has put up with more than I can imagine myself doing. She has struggled so much to raise this family. Although we do not agree on many things, I will always be grateful for the opportunities she has provided for me, Carrillo wrote, the mother. I may not have been dealt the cards in life everyone else dreams of, but I was blessed with an overbearing, over-loving mother whom also played the role of a strict father, which is stupid to say, and even more loving and caring sibling unit. The mother also appeared to struggle with her identity, at sometimes calling herself a passionate lover, and at others referring to herself as selfish and a manipulator. As for you, have a effing, she used the F word, effing amazing day. I'm just trying to kind of keep it clean. She said, have an amazing time today. Be yourself. Don't give to mind those who are hating on you. Everybody got haters, right? They probably need a hug and a smile, she wrote in a post. Scroll down here a little bit. Got to scroll past this big old blog. Y'all bear with me a moment. So that looks like the majority of it, but I think that's really, really funny when she said, I do not feel pity for them. I want y'all to remember that when it comes time for her to be sentenced for murdering her children. So we're going to say, we don't feel pity for her. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's go ahead and get started with the videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
We're learning more tonight about the weeks and months that led up to the tragic deaths of 3 young children in Reseda. Their mother is behind bars tonight, the suspect in those murders. CBS 2's Jeff Nguyen joins us live tonight in Reseda. And Jeff, you spoke with the father's cousin about what may have led up to this awful crime.
I certainly did, and right now what I would like to do is give you a sense of how this case has impacted this community. Right behind me is a growing memorial out here, and what's so painful tonight is that the motive behind this triple murder is still unclear. Flowers and candles sit outside the Reseda apartment complex where 3 children were found dead yesterday by their grandmother. They were 3-year-old Joanna, 2-year-old Terry, and 6-month-old Sierra. Eric Denton is the children's father who was in a custody battle with their mother. His family is sharing their photos, and his cousin, Dr. Terry Miller, is speaking on his behalf.
Those kids were everything. I mean, his whole being and essence is just revolves around those kids. They're such little bundles of energy. And he's just so excited about seeing them grow and seeing them develop and getting to play with them more outside.
30-year-old Liliana Carrillo has been arrested as the suspect in the triple murder following a chase into Kern County, where she's also accused of a carjacking during her run from police. Denton's family says Carrillo and her kids had been staying with her mother in the small apartment after they say she took the kids from the couple's home in Northern California.
He has his heart set on seeing the kids today because he was supposed to pick up the kids today and have them for the week.
A GoFundMe campaign has been set up to help with the children's funeral expenses. Dr. Miller, who's trained in emergency medicine, says Carrillo has never had a psychological evaluation. But she says her family noticed that Carrillo hasn't been well since giving birth to her second child. Things got worse after her 3rd pregnancy, then came the strains of COVID.
She believed that the city that they were living in was unsafe and that there was a sex trafficking ring and that most of the city was involved in it, and they were trying to pull her children into the sex trafficking ring.
Whoa, hold on. We're not.
And currently, the
skip
coroner's
that.
office is working
Let's
to figure
back
out
that
the
up
children's
like a
cause
U-Haul
of death.
truck. Hold up. What did they just say? Right about 17. Right here. Let's listen to what she just said. Let's not skip that because that was not in the article.
Living in was unsafe, and that there was a sex trafficking ring and that most of the city was involved in it, and they were trying to pull her children into the sex trafficking ring.
Oh my goodness. And I want y'all to remember. Let me see. Hold on. Did they specify? Let me see if they specified the children. 2 sons and a daughter. Holy crap. I want y'all to think about this. 2 boys. Ladies and gentlemen, we always talk when it comes to, and matter of fact, this is actually National Autism Awareness Month as well as National Child Abuse Month of April. Please do not forget that. I want y'all to think about this while they're always making it seem like it's only girls that are falling victim to the sex trafficking trade. She had 2 boys. She just barely had the 6-month-old baby, so I'm assuming that wasn't even like. We've seen that story play out before. But I'm going to assume that they were probably referring to the boys, trying to get them in the sex trafficking industry. And this woman just admitted that this particular community or whatever it is, this is like a big thing. So let me ask you guys something. How is it that all of these people know this? It didn't say anything, didn't do anything. People are quick to try to take a channel like ours. You see the shirt, it says Babies Lives Matter. People don't like this shirt. People don't like me to represent the voice and face of children. They don't like for us to rep our babies. They don't like for us to put the prayer hands up. They don't like for us to shout the AFC. They don't like for people to support this channel. They want to take us down, flag us, threaten us with what do they call that? Lawsuits and all type of stuff, talking about I'm disparaging these parents. I'm dragging their name through the mud. They want to get onto me and tell me that what I'm doing is so wrong. But the actual pedophiles and hebophiles and kidnappers and drug dealers are out here doing this to these kids, and she just admitted that on camera. Are you kidding me? And you knew that this type of thing was going on, but how many of you bastards are going to actually gonna stand up and say something? How many of the people in her community is she gonna step out and say something? Oh, you knew, you just didn't say nothing, huh? Y'all got all this access to go out and go get y'all some legal ammunition to protect yourselves as Americans, and all law-abiding citizens should have the right to go out and protect themselves and go get you some firearms, go get some training. But y'all too damn scared, and y'all letting these thugs and criminals and people stealing your kids just overrun your neighborhoods. Are you kidding me? That ain't what America was. I thought America had guts. I thought America was the most powerful country in the world. But we scared of the people in our neighborhoods. Ain't that something?
Living in was unsafe, and that there was a sex trafficking ring and that most of the city was involved in it.
Most of the city. Her words, not mine.
Things got worse after her 3rd pregnancy. Then came the strains of COVID.
She believed that the city that they were living in was unsafe, and that there was a sex trafficking ring and that most of the city was involved in it, and they were trying to pull her children into the sex trafficking ring.
And currently, the coroner's office is working to figure out the children's cause of death. In the meantime, their mother is being held in Kern County. The LAPD is working to bring her back to Los Angeles to face charges. We're live in Reseda. Jeff Nguyen, CBS 2 News.
All right, Jeff, thank you.
Breaking news right now on CBS 2 News at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and getting to that breaking news now on CBS 2 News at 6 and streaming on CBS in Los Angeles. 3 young children found murdered and their mother now under arrest. I'm Jasmine Veal in for Sarah Donchi.
And I'm Chris Holmstrom, now on CBS 2 News and CBSN Los Angeles. The baffling crime has left the community in shock and in mourning.
And the bodies of the kids, all under the age of 4, were found by their grandmother at an apartment in Reseda. CBS 2's Hermela Aragawi live there tonight with the latest. Hermela.
I'm going to try to let these videos play. I'm going to skip a couple of them. But I want y'all to remember that the mother decided to murder the kids rather than just let the kids live with the dad. Think about that. They said they had been fighting for custody for a while. And instead of she lost custody, and instead of her just giving up custody and doing the right thing and maybe trying to work with the courts to get them back to prove you're even worthy to have the kids back, she just killed them. How selfish is that? We'll come back to it too. We'll come back to it.
Hi, Jasmine and Chris. Yeah, this is certainly a shocking crime. A lot of neighbors were out here today just watching, stunned to learn what happened. One woman told me she just burst into tears when she initially heard. But let me step out of the way so you can see the building where this heartbreaking crime is believed to have occurred. There was a huge police presence for much of the day, but it doesn't look like there's any left now. But as you can see, they have left up the yellow crime tape all around the building. After a massive manhunt Saturday, police say 30-year-old Liliana Carrillo is now in custody. She's the only suspect in the murders of her 3 children. The oldest one was just 3 years old.
It's so sad that, 3 children under the age of 3. What kind of person can do that?
For much of Saturday, dozens of police officers and detectives were at these Reseda apartments where police say the children's grandmother discovered their bodies and called 911 around 9:30 Saturday morning. They tell us a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 6-month-old were pronounced dead on the scene.
I just started crying. I'm not even a mother. It's just devastating. How do you wake up and just want to kill your kids?
Investigators say Carrillo fled north on the 5 towards where they believe she's originally from. They tell us she's also suspected of a carjacking in the Bakersfield area and may have fled in a stolen silver Toyota. Carrillo was arrested in Ponderosa, California about...
Do y'all see her face? Why it looks like she's got like a little smug smile on her face? And think about this. I'm curious as to who this woman carjacked. Y'all saw her belly when she was sitting in that photo. Let me see if I can show y'all this photo. Let me take the kids off just for a moment. Let's just focus on the mom. She looked like she about a good 5'2". Like she looked like she got short person arms. I mean, no disrespect to short people, but I'm just saying she looked like she's not that tall. She's not a physically imposing person. She has a very wide midsection. She just had a baby, so I'm assuming she's probably hella out of shape. How did she jack somebody for a car? Was it had to have been somebody like 80 years or older. What do I know? I don't jack people for cars, so what do I know? Y'all know I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. I'm probably like a navy blue. But let's move on past that.
90 miles northeast of Bakersfield.
She did a horrific crime here. That she followed it up by another crime north of here, and it's those behaviors that ultimately got her caught.
Earlier in the day, we had heard that the children died from stab wounds, but later police said they weren't able to confirm the cause of death, and they don't know where the whereabouts of the father are and do not have a motive for this crime at this time.
And I did hear about that. I saw in multiple articles it said stab wounds. That is a hateful chick. I want to call her some other names, but we're trying to stay on YouTube. We don't want to get flagged down. We like our channel. We like to keep this family and this advocacy going. We are real advocacy. For those who don't believe it, Google search the definition of advocate. But we want to keep this thing going, so I'm going to try to keep my language clean. But that is a selfish person.
Yes, we're actually in front of the apartment building where...
That takes a lot of hate to stab. Not 1, not 2, but 3.
this happened. Police tape still up. They're still processing the scene. Those 3 tiny bodies are still in that apartment. They are allowing some people, some of the neighbors, people who knew them, to drop flowers and some toys. It's unthinkable, but the mother of these 3 children who were found dead this morning by their grandmother, her name is Liliana Carrillo, the mother, 30-year-old. She is in custody, and investigators are telling us that they believe she is the one and only suspect in this case. Now, as you said, we have been able to reach out to family members. The father of these 3 children, his name is Eric Denton. They actually have a GoFundMe, and they are allowing us to use the photographs. We also talked to his cousin. She explains to us that they had been going through a difficult divorce situation, but that they had reached out to try to get help for her. It's such a tragic story. Listen to this.
He's still completely in shock and he's devastated. He was planning on picking up the kids tomorrow, taking them to buy fish for their new fish tank. And he's heartbroken. I mean, Liliana was very sick, and she was not herself. And it's been going on for several months that she has been unwell.
They're already trying to set her up for a crazy plea. I don't like that.
And he's been actively doing everything possible through the, Child Protective Services, through the LAPD, to 1, get Liliana help, and 2, get his children safely home, because she left with the kids at the end of February. So he actually had emergency custody orders of the children since March 4th. He did everything that he could think of to get his kids back home safely. And
he did everything he was supposed to do as a father legally. Shout out to the father. There wasn't anything else he could do. And this mother only wanted to hurt that man. She hurt the soul of those babies until they passed away. Like physically, emotionally, spiritually. That has got to be the craziest, most scary thing a human being, let alone a baby, a child who can't speak for itself, who cannot defend itself against the tyranny of its own caretaker, its own mother, the one who's supposed to love you unconditionally. That's got to be a scary thing to go through. Now they want to act like she crazy. Thank you, Sherry. They want to act like she crazy. Come on now. But she's carjacking people. She had enough wherewithal to go carjack somebody and run and try to hide. That big old Billy.
To get her help too, because he still loved her, but she was just not herself. So he's also frustrated with the system, because the system failed them. The system failed these kids.
No, the mother failed. The system did what it was supposed to do. Let's reiterate this point. The cousin is saying the system failed. How many of you guys agree that the system failed? Maybe we'll put a poll in the chat. But how many of y'all think the system failed? I think the system did exactly what it was supposed to do, because when there is a court order and they summon you and tell you this is what you're supposed to do, you are supposed to follow that. And if you want to change, you are supposed to legally change it. Like if y'all, like Lee Hellinger, who is in the chat, somebody who has been around the law for a little while, maybe can let me know if I'm accurate about that, or maybe if I'm a little bit off. But y'all can see if she comments in the chat. But I like to lean on her. I feel like she's a friend, definitely a family member of the AFC. But if I'm wrong about that, I feel like the system did what it was supposed to do. You're supposed to follow the law. The law tells you don't shoot and kill. If you do it, what happens? We come get you. The law tells you don't run red lights. If you do, bad things can happen. The law is just like any other piece of paper. We're agreeing to abide by those rules, and you're supposed to follow those rules. If not, there will be consequences and repercussions. But there's nothing really physically there, and you're not going to always have police on hand to police y'all as parents to do what you're supposed to do. The failure comes on the mother. Thank you for saying it. Y'all caught it in the chat. It's the mom's fault. And I know society might not want us to be able to verbalize that, but it's the truth. It's not always women. It's not always men. It's not always moms. It's not always dads. It's not always blacks. It's not always whites. Sometimes it's Latins. Sometimes it's Asians. We're talking about the children. Please remember that, okay? Let's move on.
DCFS was one of the agencies that responded here today. They would not talk to us on camera. What happened? Again, she was captured up in Tulare County. Let's go now to the beginning of the day and the people who knew them and can fill us in. Listen.
I never in my wildest dreams imagined that it was the little ones.
Lupe?
Why they do these interviews with these masks on? I know everybody think they're supposed to wear a mask. I get it, but maybe just don't do an interview. I can't understand what people are saying when you got your mouth covered up like this. Like, I can't understand what you're saying. Why do an interview with a mask on and you're outside? I'm sorry. That's just... I can't believe we got used to masks that quickly in 12 months. And we think that's normal. To have a conversation with somebody with a freaking mask on. I'm sorry, but I just think it's weird.
Cuevas, referring to the little children that wanted to play with her small dog, Rosie, at the Royal Villa Apartments. The same
I can't even hear when people don't have a mask on. I can't even hear people normally, let alone with something covering your mouth up. I'm sorry.
Children, investigators say, were found by their grandmother, seemingly stabbed to death.
The ages that I know are 3, 2, and 6 months or so.
The suspect, their own mother, 30-year-old Liliana Carrillo, who was arrested in Northern California after supposedly carjacking a vehicle.
She was caught in the vehicle that she had taken from another individual during her flee from this location.
Neighbors telling us they usually saw the children with grandma.
It's the little girl that is that I have in my mind as
because
the sweetest little one, because she wanted to bang Rosie, and she was so sweet, and she listened to her grandma.
You saw the kids with grandma. Did you ever see them with mom?
No, because
no one ever saw the father in the small first-floor apartment.
TV would be on. And the cartoons, they'd be cartoons all the time.
Okay, I'm gonna skip past this. I can't understand her. She is speaking English, by the way. I can't understand a word she's saying. Let's just skip this one.
Breaking news, 3 children have been discovered dead in a Reseda apartment. Their mother is now under arrest. I'm Veronica Miracle.
And I'm Jory Rand. This is Eyewitness News at 4. We begin with this unthinkable tragedy playing out in the San Fernando Valley. Let's get right to Amy Powell live in Reseda with those breaking details. Amy.
Jory and Veronica, just a very shocking crime. As you mentioned, 3 small children believed to be siblings, all under the age of 4, found dead, and now their mother is in custody. The bodies of those children found this morning around 9:30 after LAPD officers were called to an apartment building on the 8,000 block of Reseda Boulevard. Police say the grandmother of the children came home from work and found them dead in an apartment. Police immediately began searching for their mother, 30-year-old Liliana Carrillo, who they say fled the scene, describing her as armed and dangerous. The reports came in indicating that Carrillo committed a carjacking in the Bakersfield area. Carrillo was located in the Ponderosa area of Tulare County and arrested.
She did a horrific crime here. She followed it up by another crime north of here, and it's those behaviors that ultimately got her caught.
And police tell us they are interviewing family members as they gather details about what may have led up to this horrific crime. LAPD Chief Michael Moore was here at the scene earlier. Again, a major investigation underway here. And detectives say that the mother of those dead children, Liliana Carrillo, is the only suspect in this crime.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC.
Let me go ahead and give my closing thoughts about this. First and foremost, if y'all were listening, we just heard that the woman jacked her friend, her own friend. So I told y'all she didn't look like she was that physically imposing of a person to be able to carjack somebody. And I might have been right. So the friend, knowing that they just said that the friend would give the shirt off of their back to help this woman out, and knowing that she's a mother, probably just gave up the vehicle and he had to report it that it was stolen because he probably didn't know what the hell was going on. Excuse me. So she took advantage of her so-called friend. Okay. And again, I want to remind you guys that Child Protective Services was called prior. And I know some people might look at this and say, well, CPS failed again. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. CPS said the dad should have custody. They put in the order, sign the papers, said, send them kids over there to him. We'll figure it out with you later. But for now, he got custody. Send them kids over there to him. So he was supposed to get the kids, and he's trying to be patient. The father did the right thing, because you can't go poking the bear and did not expect for the bear to attack. So he didn't want to angry this big bear-looking woman and potentially hurt his kids. So he was trying to be patient with her. He was trying to give her some time. He didn't want to make her upset. He was just like, hey, this is what the court order say. Whenever you're ready, I'll be here ready to pick up the kids so we can live up to the order that was granted legally. She lost custody. And I'm going to tell you guys something. In America, if a mother loses custody, in this case, if you lose custody of 3 children, then at that point, you need to back off and say, you know what? You got to be woman enough to be able to allow this system to do what it's supposed to do and allow that father to be there. And I always hear women talking about, well, these men don't want to be in their children's lives. How many of y'all have heard a woman say that? I've heard it before. I've heard women say that. He don't want to be a daddy to his kids. Well, most men, if you allow them the opportunity, unmolested, will be fathers to their kids. Don't hound them. Just keep the door open. And shout out to my cousin. I told my cousin that when she was going through her divorce. And I told her, I said, you and him might be going through something, but don't ever close that door on that man. Leave that door open whenever and however he wants to see his kids, pick his kids up, spend time with his kids. Allow him to be able to do so. You do not want to live a life of regret by closing that door, because you can't undo it. But you give him a chance. If you don't live up to that chance, then you've tried. You've done all you can do. And that's what a lot of us that have these broken families have to do, is we have to be able to work together. This was a simple thing to remedy. Just don't be a selfish bitch. That's simple. But no, the mama didn't want to feel like less of a woman. It don't make you less of a woman if you lose your kids. It does make you less of a woman if you murder the kids to spite the man. That makes you less of a mother. If you're abusing your children, yes, that might make you one. If you stab your children to death, not 1, not 2, but 3, yes, that might make you less of a woman. But I always try to remind you guys, and I want you guys to stay encouraged, especially for those who might be listening to my stream, might be listening to my voice, who might be going through something right now. Let me tell you guys this. This ain't a news station. I ain't here to report the news. I'm here to give you my commentary on things that happen. These are educational moments. You see people in the chat who say that they learn stuff from this channel, and I'm glad that even if we get 1 or 2 or 3 people listening, I'm thankful for anybody who listens. As long as you still have breath in your body, there is a chance to get better. There is a chance to work through it. Please do not be discouraged. Don't give up, and definitely don't take it out on your children. Look at my shirt. It says, babies, lives matter. The AFC. We are the advocates for children. We're going to advocate for children first. We're also going to stand on the necks of those who hurt children, who can't speak for themselves nor defend themselves. That woman deserves every bit of life in prison with no opportunity to get paroled and never another opportunity to be around kids or procreate. Hashtag TTO, terrible mother. RIP to those babies, those beautiful souls. They deserved an opportunity to grow up and become something great. So to those angels, all 3 of them, RIP. I'm DJ Just Jay, where the AFC will be advocate for children first. Thank you for listening to the story with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you.